We are back at the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at Circuit of the Americas. As we said, the Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec categories ran together in 3 races as the weekend unfolded. We're going to go back and take a look right now at some highlights from the first race. First of all, on the Motul pole in the Touring Car B-Spec class was 15-year-old Ernie Francis Jr., becoming the youngest ever pole qualifier in Pirelli World Challenge history. On the TC pole, Ryan Winchester, who came close to a championship last year and was looking to get one here this weekend, and he started from pole. It was a rolling start, Cal, and he did get a good launch and led away. He did. It was an all-compass 360 show in qualifying 1, 2, 3. But look at Connor Ford there in the blue machine. Looks to the inside, but then John Miller in the Shea Racing Civic makes it Honda's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, absolutely great start by those two, especially for Miller coming up. Dan Martinson in the gear tie. Solstice lurking right there in 6th. He would be a player. In Touring Car B-Spec, it was a battle royale. Charlie James in that Zero Safe Racer Mini, able to get around. Boom! Look at that. Taking both of the mirrors out on those guys. And that was Ernie Francis coming back by. It was like that all day. For Jim Cleveland, his second flip of the weekend, got hit and rolled this time. That brought out a caution. Yeah, that's a shame because he started at the very back of the grid and had a great run going here today, Greg. He did. The Wild Bubba's Fiat. It was a wild day indeed. On the restart, once again, the Compass 360 onslaught continued, and a great restart by that black VW. That's Tom Martin, but look at John Miller. He looks to the inside down in Motul braking zone, tries to get it slowed down, has to bounce all the way over the apex. Martinson was through. He was on the inside of those curves, and this battle continued. Look at the squeeze play by James and young Ernie Francis Jr., the 15-year-old, having none of it, and stayed right with him, and they are door-to-door, mirror-to-kind-of-mirror once again. It was unbelievable. This is great stuff down through the S's here at Circuit of the Americas. Neither one of them wants to give up the lead. Good run by Johan Swartz in the Endurance Karting Mini, sitting there right there in 3rd. Great to have him on board for the full season. And the Minis were strong, but look at this move by Martinson. That's Dan Martinson coming up the 2 gear tie sponsored cars, and Martinson at the checker was able to grab that last spot on the podium, but the win went to Ryan Winchester. Special day for him. It really is a Compass 1-2, nearly a 1-2-3. Martinson spoiled that party. And the battle in Touring Car B-Spec continued for one more lap, and Ernie Francis Jr. finally, as he's bounding over the curb, smoking the tires, was able to open it up a little bit and bring it home for the win. But in Touring Car, it was Winchester, talented teammate Remo Ruscitti, almost making it a podium sweep for 360, but Martinson spoiling the party. By 0.02 of a second, that was tight. And now let's take a look at the results in the Touring Car B-Spec category. You see Connor Ford, by the way, having a little bit of an issue there after that great early run. Ernie Francis Jr. and Charlie James, that margin belies what went on that entire race. But look at Ernie Francis Sr. coming up from 7th spot to make it a father-son on the podium. That's pretty special. Family celebration. That's a special day for those two gentlemen. Truly is. It was a great race by everybody. They put on one heck of a show here on the national course. Let's take a look at our turning point of the race. A big yellow flag that unfolded for this guy, the 78 of Jim Cleveland, that Wild Bubba's Fiat, his second flip of the weekend, and ironically, he got the Optima battery's best start of the race, made up a ton of spots, 5 in the opening lap, but then got clipped and ended up on his roof, as I said, for the second time. He's fine. He was fine, by the way. No issues there. Our Sunoco hard charger, this guy, Ernie Francis Sr., the father, coming from 7th to the podium. Well, the Minis were tough here today, but Ernie Francis Sr. did squeeze that second Mazda 2 onto the podium. Did an absolutely great job. Our Cadillac CTSV move of the race in this one, easy. Ernie Francis Jr. just surviving this great battle. Well, I think you could pick several moves during the course of this event. There's some great action today. Absolutely, and also let's take a look at our Motul fast laps of the race. In both categories, they were rookies. In Touring Car, the very quick Ruscitti, and in the Touring Car B-Spec class, the even younger Ernie Francis Jr. What a great story that is. Coming up, we've got more highlights. This now from race 2 of the Touring Car and Touring Car B-Specs. They had a busy weekend at Circuit of the Americas. The Pirelli World Challenge, the most intense and unique sports car racing on the planet. Multiple classes running at the same time, but in a sprint format. Some of the world's top manufacturers and the world's best drivers, all beginning with standing starts. It is truly Sports Car Wars. For series and event ticket information, check out world-challenge.com. To watch replays of all the intense action, check out world-challengetv.com. And always check it out, Pirelli World Challenge on Facebook. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Volvo. Designed to win on race day, designed around you. By StopTech, world-class brake components and systems for racing cars and high-performance vehicles on the street and track. And by the Bob Bondurant School of High Performance Driving, internationally recognized as a leading authority on driver training, celebrating 45 years. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at Circuit of the Americas, and we are about ready for highlights from round 2 of the Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec Championship, which unfolded a short 20 minutes after that first race. But before we go there, in this category and in the GTS category, Honda Performance Development and Acura is very well represented.
Unlike a purpose-built prototype, this is truly started as a street car. These cars were probably, pressed cars. They were driven around, used for testing. Then they went to the real-time team and they converted them into race cars. Racing definitely affects the development of the street car. It may not immediately affect it, but it's something we learn here will then go into the next model. We like to say it's production-based. There's not a lot of changes. In reality, that's true, especially compared to a purpose-built race car. There's some adjustability added, but it's all based on the stock layout. We do run a sequential transmission rather than a standard transmission. Engine in this car is the same engine that comes in a TSX V6. Acura has had a long relationship with real-time frankly, because they win. I mean, they represent our brand very well, collecting 12 drivers' championships and 10 manufacturers' championships along the way. So certainly one of the most winningest marks in the World Challenge Championship.
Boy, and Petey Cunningham and real-time racing have carried that flag for Acura to great success.
They have 7 championships, says it all.
Yeah, it does, just for Petey alone, as well as others that have driven for him. Let's take a look at our Motul Pole Awards. Once again, in Touring Car B-Spec, the young 15-year-old Ernie Francis Jr. Great finish in round 1, puts him on the pole for round number 2. Ryan Winchester, that pole time, again, winning in round 1 to boot for Ultimate Racing and Compass 360.
Yeah, they're going to be awfully tough. I mean, they nearly had a 1-2-3 here yesterday. Let's see what happens today.
And at the start, it was the 2 lead cars up front, bringing him to the line, Winchester and his teammate alongside. But watch that silver Pontiac Solstice of Dan Martinson. He got a great start, as did Fred Emick in the blue BMW.
And Sarah Catania there in the 43, number 43 Honda tried to squeeze through the middle as well. But here comes Emick all the way down the inside. Nearly gets into Catania. Good, clean racing.
Good squeeze play. Everybody survived it, but Martinson, once again, very racy in the early going. Watch this outside move, folks. And Cal, that put him into second.
It did. It was a stellar move, and he's really on form here this weekend. Really some great pace in that Pontiac Solstice.
And right there, Brett Sandberg and Rusiti having a little bit of a door-to-door, and Sandberg coming out on top. Meanwhile, in the Touring Car B battle, same thing as in round 1. These two guys were mirror to mirror again.
That's great stuff. I mean, they're just having a fantastic battle here this weekend. And through this circuit, through these S's, you can go side by side. They did it in race 1. They're doing it again now.
Yeah, Charlie James at Safe Racer Mini giving it all he had to try and get back around now Ernie Francis Jr. in the hydraulic jeans Mazda, but Ernie was able to hang on to it, but it continued to be close. Look at this move here by James down the front straight. Very close racing, Cal.
It really is, and we've got 3 different marks up here in the top 4. You see Liparini in the Honda hovering in 4th position.
And right there in 3rd, that blue Mini, Robbie Davis in the Mini Financial Services Mini USA entry was in the hunt. But in Touring Car, it was Ryan Winchester, and getting his 2nd win on the same day. A great weekend for him starting off. But look at this. The Compass 360 boys able to get around Martinson and bring it home. That 1-2-3 for them. But in Touring Car B-Spec, Cal, it was crazy at the line. And watch this. We have to go on board. Right there, Ernie Francis Jr. just getting the nose ahead to get his 2nd straight win. Incredible action.
What a move. Charlie James thought he used all of the road, and Ernie Francis Jr. said, no way, I'm going a little bit wider. He gets that run off the final corner and gets it done at the line.
So the podium sweep for the Ultimate Racing Compass 360 boys. Martinson, a very competitive 4th, and again, John Miller in that Shea Racing entry. A solid run up into the top 5 once again. And in Touring Car B-Spec, it was furious as well.
It was furious, and it was really tight at the top. Look at that. The margin of victory, 1/100th of a second. Ernie Francis Jr. over Charlie James. Robbie Davis completes the podium.
And Joel Liparini looking very, very quick as well. And a big field here. Today, not so good for Ernie Francis Sr. The father wasn't able to not only get on the podium, but had some problems early on and finished way at the back of the pack. Our Optima Batteries best start was Dave Alejandro. He started 30th overall, picked up 8 spots in that opening lap. Pretty remarkable performance for Dave Alejandro, to be sure. And in our Cadillac CTS move of the race, Dan Martinson once again on that start, Cal, going up into 2nd.
It was brave, but it was clean and very smart as well. There you see, gets the position, gets up to second place, eventually demoted off the podium.
Anderson Oko hard charger, often not a surprise. The guy who gets the best start gets the hard charger. Dave Alejandro getting it done in his number 99. There it is, that beautiful green machine, and he really had it hustling. And the key turning point of the race, all the track and more.
Absolutely. What exit speed, and look how tight it is as they come down to the wire, down to the checkered flag. Ernie Francis Jr. gets his second victory of the weekend.
And the Motul fast laps, well, it was a number 70, this time a Brett Sandberg for Ultimate Racing Compass 360, getting that one. And in Touring Car B-Spec, once again, Ernie Francis Jr. having an amazing day. Here was your Touring Car podium, and again, a sweep for Compass 360, but guess what? They had to do it one more time. When we come back, highlights for TC and TCB from Race 3. Today's coverage of the Pirelli World Challenge Championships is being brought to you by Motul, the official lubricant and brake fluid of the Pirelli World Challenge. By Eibach, the world leader in high-performance suspension. And by Kia Motors and the Kia Optima. It's not your average midsize sedan. We return for our third look at the Touring Car and Touring Car B-Spec machines as part of the Cadillac Sports Car Challenge at Circuit of the Americas. This happened a day later, and this one will be a standing start. Ernie Francis gets the Motul Pole Award for the third straight day in his hydraulic jeans. Mazda, that beautiful Mazda 2, really hustling around this track. And in Touring Car, it's Brett Sandberg in the Ultimate Racing Compass 360 machine, the number 70, getting the pole. And he was really looking forward to this race. He said, you know, he's been in this series for a few years on and off, and he said joining this team, he really feels this year is his year. And at the standing start, he had a great getaway, but as you would expect, great action unfolding everywhere on the track. And once again, when we take a look up into turn one, watch for John Miller's move. The guy is amazing off the line. Here he comes again.
There you see him in that white and purple machine, the Shea Racing Civic, all the way up to fifth spot. Sarah Catania there in the mix as well in the black, number 43.
But this time Martinson in that gear tie Solstice could not get around. The Compass 360 boys had to settle into fourth. In Touring Car B-Spec, a new face on the leaderboard, Joel Lipperini in the Honda, the Race Labs Honda Fit, out front early, and that kept the field incredibly close.
This was really a tight bunch here. Lipperini finished fourth here yesterday, but he wants a lot more today. He wants to be on the podium, maybe get a win. So we're seeing that Honda out front. Ernie Francis Jr., though, doesn't want to let him go.
Back up to touring cars, and it continued to be Sandberg leading his two teammates. And you notice the gear tie on Sandberg's car getting some support from Dan Martinson, the founder of Gear Tie, running that Pontiac Solstice, and Sandberg flying the colors beautifully. He got a bit of a break when they caught up to the leaders in Touring Car B. He got through cleanly, but this kept this group incredibly close.
It's really tight there, but watch this. The touring cars, they're coming through here. That's the second and third place runner trying to clear the TCB pack. It's wild, it's furious, but Lipperini still hangs on to the lead right now.
And Ernie Francis glommed onto the back of that Race Labs Honda Fit, and it was going to get interesting here in just a minute. There you see Lipperini as Martinson now able to work by. There's second and third, and then Martinson up into fourth. And big move here. Look at this as Winchester trying to pick up second from his teammate. Couldn't quite get it done down in turn one.
Awesome racing, and this battle continues now as they head down to the S's. Rossetti has it right now, but Winchester, who's won 2 races already this weekend, he wants more.
Meanwhile, back at Touring Car B-Spec, it continued to be Lipperini, but finally Ernie Francis getting the drive off of that last turn and just trying to stay close enough, finally gets up alongside. Now watch what's going to happen here. The other two guys decide to go with him at the last moment, Cal.
Look at this. Davis there in the blue mini. James right there as well. Francis takes the apex. Lipperini tries to battle hard around the outside, and he gets forced wide here. Then they trade some paint. Lipperini really forcing the issue on Francis Jr., but that opens the door to the other side for Davis to sneak through.
Robbie snuck through, and you can see James was looking at it a little bit later on as Francis had now been able to open the margin up. James down to the inside of Lipperini for the second spot to try and lock that one in. Sarah Cantaneo working through this traffic, keeping things interesting. But again, more contact. Lipperini refusing to give it up easy with that inside line.
It's an amazing battle, but the two minis won't by. Meanwhile, it's allowed Ernie Francis Jr. to really walk away from this pack a little bit. He's looking for 3 victories on the weekend. Winchester now ahead of Rossetti.
And it's going to get interesting for Winchester because right in front, Dina Weisberger, the Renkow Porsche, gets into the side of Dave Alejandro's number 99 claim support Mazda 2. and it almost went over. Alejandro, a great piece of driving to keep it settled, and it obviously didn't affect this battle, Cal. They were still exactly door to door.
What a battle this is. You saw him go through turn 6 with a lot of speed, side by side. It did, however, allow their teammate to stretch the margin up front, Greg.
He did, to a tune of just over 5 seconds as he brought it home and picked up the checker for Brett Sandberg. Very, very satisfying move, as we said, to the Ultimate Racing Compass 360 program. Nicely done for Brett, and pretty ecstatic, understandably so, after trying for it for a long, long time. And he certainly enjoyed a nice lap of honor here. And in Touring Car B-Spec, Ernie Francis Jr. showing how important drafting is in the B-Spec class. Once he broke free of that group, 7.6 seconds his margin of victory, and a third consecutive win. Pretty remarkable performance there. Let's take a look at touring car official results. Sandberg, Winchester, Rusiti, again, the sweep for Compass 360, and John Miller and Patrick Sagan bringing it up to a top 5 finish. You take a look at some of the other drivers. Dino Weisberg, again, that big moment. Connor Ford, Martinson, Emick, all having their issues and finishing at the back.
Well, it was Honda's 1 through 6, but in the touring car B, different story. There we see 3 different marks represented in the top 4 positions. Mazda at top. 3 wins this weekend for Ernie Francis Jr. Charlie James, another brilliant performance in second.
You notice Ernie Francis Sr., after that tough finish in race 2, came right back up into the top 5 once again. So pretty good weekend for the Francis family, I would say. And it was about to get better because Ernie Francis Sr. right there in that green and white number 2, Mazda 2, he got the Optima Battery's best standing start, moving up 8 spots in the opening lap alone. And for the Francis family, the accolades continued. The Cadillac CTS moved the race, went to Ernie Francis Jr. for this pass on Joe Lipperini.
Well, he was really deep there in our Motul braking zone. Trades a bit of paint coming off turn 1, but gets the lead and hangs on to it.
That was an absolutely great scrap. And then for our Sunoco Hard Charger, it was Senior. Once again, after that great start of 8 positions, he picked up another 12 throughout the course of the race and picked up a ton of spots. Just an amazing run for the Francis family, to be sure. And now we take a look at the Kia turning point of the race, and it's a deja vu moment, Cal.
It certainly is. Look at this little battle going up the hill, up into our Motul braking zone. Ernie Francis Jr. leads the way and gets his 3rd victory of the weekend and top of the points table.
It was fantastic. Our Motul fast laps, Brett Sandberg getting it in touring car, and Ernie Francis Jr. basically completing a sweep of everything in touring car B-Spec. What a day for him. So, in our touring car driver points presented by Volvo, it's Ryan Winchester over Brett Sandberg, Rusiti, John Miller, and Sarah Cantaneo after the 3 rounds round out your top 5.
And looking at our touring car manufacturers' points, it's Honda on top with 30. Kia yet to put a point on the board.
Moving into our touring car B-Spec, and let's take a look at the points there for the drivers presented by Kia. And not a big surprise, Ernie Francis Jr. Big margin over Charlie James, Robbie Davis, Joe Lipperini, and Micah Celta completing the top 5.
Well, what a day for Compass 360, Greg.
You bet. Another sweep, and when we come back, it is time for round number 6. It is the Cadillac B-Series Challenge at Belle Isle for GT and GTS. Stay there.